Hey, what's up LinkedIn? Today I'll be sharing a new tool by Canoa called Canvas. I saw an interesting opportunity to use this tool as an inspiration board as I try to develop a workplace concept. The challenge? 1 hour to come up with an office concept, develop a look and feel, design a logo, and bonus, start designing the office. Let's get it. The first thing I did was hop into ChatGPT and asked it to come up with a concept for me. We're super limited on time, so I just needed a concept to work with. The AI gave me a company called Golden Wave Innovations, which I thought was a little kitsch, so I shortened it to Wave. Could we get the domain name and IP? Probably not, but whatever. I thought the values and brand colors were a good starting place, and I could build from there. I started off by sketching what was top of mind. The Golden Gate Bridge is a little too common, but I did like the idea of using the orange as an accent color. For the type design, I wanted something dynamic that illustrated the movement of waves. I needed to collect my thoughts, so I created some categories to dump images into. I had a general idea of what I was going for, but I needed a way to riff on this concept. By this time, I had already used up almost 8 minutes of my time and I needed to start building. I started with the palette because that would help me create a mental breakdown of how things might play out. I found a pre-made palette that was pretty close to what I had in mind, and I swapped out some of the tones for something resembling the Golden Gate Bridge. In this iteration, I wanted the grays and the blues to be a majority of the palette, with the orange being reserved as a unique accent. While I was searching for images, I was looking for compositions, images, and moments that had mostly neutral grays, and used a really deep and rich blue or bright orange as sort of a wow moment. One of the things I loved about working in Canvas is how loose and quick it is. Working back and forth between several image libraries such as Pinterest and Save, I could pull inspiration materials that evoked the look and feel that I was going for. When building inspiration boards, scale matters. Larger images takes precedent when they almost fully encapsulate the vision, while smaller images can show details and zoomed in shots, kind of like supporting imagery. There are many times where I like a specific aspect of an image, whether it's the color, maybe the composition, or even a texture or a typeface, but the image as a whole is not representative of the vision, so it needs to be cropped, scaled, or even altered further with color grading and compositing in order to convey the message. At this point, I was almost halfway through my time and I needed to get started on designing a logo. I had enough inspiration imagery to use as a guideline for the mark, and now it was a matter of iterating something quickly. I copied over the image board into Illustrator and pulled the colors from that board. From there, I copied the palette down and created a blend to expand the palette. If I were going to do more print-based work, I'd also expand the colors in the opposite and less saturated and lighter direction, but I was a bit pressed for time, so I decided to skip that exploration. Once I had a good palette, I started looking for a ruling structure. I really wanted to do something that kind of resembled a W and also felt like a wave or a water drop. I remember seeing some images of tidal maps and I tried to explore those for some inspiration as well. After squiggling more lines, I knew I just had to start because time was running out and I hadn't even begun to design the office yet. With 20 minutes remaining, I created a radial grid and started riffing on some rounded shapes. The radial grid reminded me of a water ripple, and I really wanted to stress this idea of movement and water without being too literal. I'm from the Bay Area, so let's face it, the Golden Gate is on almost everything, and it's pretty challenging to create a remarkable mark that references the bridge. I landed on a repeating swoopy blob that sort of felt watery and laid it out in the shape of a W. It was way too wide for my liking, so I tried to track the forms a bit closer and use some of the overlapping to get them to fit. I really wanted it to fit within a square format. This would make it much easier to use in lockups as well as in standalone applications such as phone apps, icons, or on products. I was imagining this brand to create cutting-edge software and hardware, so it would be immensely beneficial to have a flexible identity system. By this time, there was barely 10 minutes left on the timer, and I had just landed on some lockups that I felt were a decent first attempt. But I really wanted to explore the design of the office. We had a lockup, which was great because that's often the first thing you see when you enter a workplace, and we also had a mood board and a lot of references for our look and feel. This is where things get super interesting. When you click on an image with furniture, Canvas AI actually suggests furniture. Neat. But even better, you can drag the recommendations into the canvas itself. Pretty solid. But wait, even better. You can actually create a purchase list or furniture schedule and convert the furniture image into scaled CAD blocks. To be completely honest, I lost track of time and went over the 1 hour mark because I was having too much fun exploring the different furniture blocks and creating workplace configurations for my non-existent technology company. It was super exciting to play with this tool, and even though it's very new and a lot of the functions are still under development, I think it's worth checking out. Give it a try for yourself and let me know what you think in the comments. Canvas is currently free to use, so you can try all the features I showed for yourself. I'll also leave a link to the canvas that I developed in the comments so you can poke around and see how I organize my process. Special thanks to the team at Canoa for letting me test out your software, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace!